So you want to go full on hybrid, but don't know what path to pick. Today we're going to go over all the 4 different hybrid vocations. We're going to talk about each and every one of them and which one is going to fit your playstyle and which one you should invest more time into actually getting than the other ones that are within the list. Now, I was going to make a separate video for each individual character, but I figured it would be best just to put all 4 of them together and give you guys my opinion on which one I believe to be the best one. But before we get started talking about each individual vocations, I want to know from you guys, which ones do you have your mindset on right now? Let me know in the comment section down below. And hopefully by the time we finish this video, you guys maybe change your mind or have a different perspective. All right, so let's go ahead and start. So we have the Magic Archer. We have the Mystic Spearhand, which I did a separate video for. We have the Trickster, and we have the Warfare. So those are the 4 different hybrid vocations you're able to transition to. Remember, pawns can't transition into hybrid vocations. Only main characters can. So your main character, the one that you're running with, is the only one that's going to be able to tap into these vocations. Now, one interesting thing to note about these vocations is that not only do they enhance you as a player, but they also enhance your pawn. And some of them are more lenient to pawn enhancements than other. So with that being said, let's get started with one of my personal favorite ones. And the one I'm kind of leaning more towards, if you guys feel I shouldn't lean towards this one, tell me why. All right, so we have the Magic Archer. Now, the Magic Archer has a combination of 2 amazing things. Number 1, being able to keep his distance. Number 2, being able to have multiple shots if you guys go along that path. But the great thing about this is that now if you go with the Magic Archer vocation, this is going to allow you to infuse the magic of bow and arrow. It's also going to let you infuse the power of magic. What this is going to allow you to do, it's going to allow you to fire arrows that are infused with magic with different elements. Ice, fire, we have toxic, I would say. I think it's called different here, poison. But we have different sets of elements that you're able to infuse into the bow, into the arrow, allowing you to do even more damage. So it makes it really powerful in the sense of you being able to keep your distance, plus also casting damage over time, and also being very effective when it comes to AoE damage, due to the fact that some of these arrows are able to rain down hell, literally. And I feel like it's such a very suited class, not only for AoE damage, but also from range, and also being able to do a lot of damage over time with these particular arrows. One of my favorite arrows I think about out of all of these are the ricochet arrows. I think those are going to be playing a few fundamental role, especially when you go into dungeons and caves. Being able to shoot one arrow and have it ricochet multiple times, hitting the enemy multiple times, I think is actually pretty dope. So that's the Magic Archer. Now, for the Mystic Spearhead vocation, which I kind of talked a little bit about on my previous video, this one's going to be a very interesting, because what this is going to do, it's going to combine the fighter and give him mage abilities, okay? The great thing about this particular vocation, it seems to be one of the most well-balanced vocations, due to the fact that you're going to be able to do 2 very crucial, important things. Number 1, close quarter combat. Of course, as a fighter, you'll be able to absorb this damage, and giving you the ability to keep your distance now that you have magic vocation that you could tap into. This is going to allow you to do not only physical damage, but magic damage as well. And primarily this vocation in general is pretty much combined with a new weapon that you could only use with this particular vocation, the Dude Spear, which lets you have a spear that has both ends at the spear end, which will give you the ability of doing a ton of damage multiple times, and also being able to fend off enemies with the bolt spearhead. So really, really good combination here of not only combining magic, but also combining the ability of you being a fighter. So not only being tanky, but taking a little bit of of that tankiness away and giving you guys power to fight from a little bit of a distance. The next one we have, I believe to be one of the most craziest one, and one of the ones I really want to kind of dive in and play with, just because I like the concept of it, and that is the Trickster vocation. So the Trickster vocation is pretty much what it says it is. It's a trickster, and basically what he's going to do, it's going to give you the ability to get a sensor. Now this particular sensor is going to give you the ability to conjure illusions within enemies. Now what this is going to allow you to do is it's not only going to allow you to conjure the enemy and confuse the enemy, but it's also going to be very, very crucial to support the pawns. This is where I feel like this is going to be like the main vocation, where you're not going to be so much of the one that's going to be doing a lot of fighting. It's just, you're just going to be primarily enhancing your pawns because if you go to the trickster route, it's going to give you the ability of strengthening each individual pawn. And in addition to that, guys, it's going to give you the ability to be a thief, as you guys already know, because this combines both of those elements here. So I think this vocation is going to be one of the most trickiest ones to master, but I have a really good feeling that this vocation is going to be pretty OP. And not only are you able to conjure and confuse enemies, you're also able to do a lot of stuff with smoke. One of the greatest things that you're able to do is discover really hidden stuff, in the sense that you were able to create a bridge to fill a gap during the exploration. So I have a feeling that there's going to be certain areas that we're going to be, going around the map, and there's going to be like maybe a chest in the top of a rock, or there's going to be a chest across the land and we can't cross it. And we're like, oh my goodness, how can I cross this over? Right? I need a bird. I need some sort of mount. But the only way you're going to be able to do this is with the trickster vocation, because he's going to be able to create bridges. Now that sounds pretty dope, and it seems like to me like this vocation is going to be the one that's going to be super duper explorative when it comes to finding very secret stuff. The next one we have, guys, is the warfarer. Now this particular vocation is, I would say, the most rounded vocation out of all of them, due to the fact that this particular vocation allows you to combine all the vocations. So it allows you to combine the fighter, the trickster, the archer. Basically, you're able to pick whatever you want and go every way you want, because it's going to give you the possibility to wield any weapon type and learn any skill from any other vocation. So this is going to be like your main class that you're going to want to pick, that's going to allow you to kind of play any class you want with this particular vocation. But I mean, even though with that major upside, as you guys know, there's always going to be a downside when it comes to using a vocation that's so flexible, right? Now, of course, the downside to this vocation, guys, is the fact that it can't inherit any specialized strength and has a lower base stat compared to the other vocations. So not only are you going to be super squishy, but you're also not going to be able to inherit any special traits from the other vocations that are currently available in the game. So it's really important that you understand that, because even though it sounds like it has a lot of upside, it has a little bit of downside as well. So you're going to have to figure out exactly which vocation you want to go with. Me personally, the two I'm kind of currently leaning on is the magic archer and the trickster. Those are the ones I really kind of am favored. But I want to know from you guys, which one do you feel like it's going to suit your playstyle? You guys are going to be a little bit more in tune to pick. Now, for those of you who don't know, when you guys go to the hardware vocation, they're going to give you better skills and offer you a very unique playstyle compared to the current vocations that you start off with. So it's going to be really important that you guys figure out exactly how to do that in mind. Now, remember, from my personal information that I have, is you could theoretically change the standard vocations, but I believe after you go to the hybrid vocations, you can no longer change that vocation. So you're going to make sure you make the correct choice on which hybrid vocation you want to go with. Now, if you guys don't know what vocation to pick at the start, not only do I highly recommend you guys check out my video on what vocation I think you should pick depending on your playstyle, but I also would recommend you guys check out the other individual vocations that are separate to kind of drill down a little bit more on those specific vocations. I hope you guys are enjoying our Dragon's Dogma content. If you are, do me a huge favor, guys, drop a comment, drop a like. Most importantly, subscribe to the channel, turn those notifications so you guys won't miss when our videos go live. Thank you guys for watching, and I will catch you guys on the next one.